Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. Come closer, settle in. This is a story about a man who was very good at running away, until the city taught him how to stay. On the disc, honesty is often a costume people try on for size. Sometimes it fits. Sometimes it changes the wearer. Moist von Lipwig is a confidence trickster with a gift for names that are not quite his and schemes that almost work. The hangman almost finishes him. Lord Veterinary, the patrician of Ankh-Morpork, finishes the joke. Moist is cut down, renamed, and offered a choice that is not really a choice: run the Ankh-Morpork post office, or discover what happens to men who refuse the patrician's kindness. The post office is a cathedral of undelivered hope. Letters pile like geological ages. Boots, parcels, and dust. An elderly cat named Mr. Tiddles patrols the corridors with the authority of a small god. Junior postman Stanley collects pins as if they were relics. Senior postman Tolliver Grote is a survivalist of institutional neglect, full of ointments, rules, and a faith that the mail will rise again if someone simply begins. Moist's parole officer is not a man. Mr. Pump is a golem, clay, and duty, who will walk him into the ground if he tries to flee. A golem does not tire of righteousness. Moist learns to smile at that fact, which is the first sign that the city is rewriting him. The competition is the Grand Trunk, the clacks towers that flash messages across the continent at the speed of light and greed. Reacher Gilt wears a golden smile and a pirate's confidence. He speaks of progress while the clacksmen break under the weight of his numbers. Codes go missing. Men go missing. The future, Gilt insists, belongs to those who own the wires. Moist does what con men do best when cornered by virtue: he invents. He invents stamps, little squares of government magic that turn a letter into a contract with the world. He paints the post office back into the city's imagination. He delivers. He learns that a letter arriving too late is still a kind of honesty, because someone tried. Adora Bell Dearheart, spike to those who have earned the nickname, works for the Golem Trust and does not suffer fools, golden smiles, or men who treat people as props. She has reasons to hate the Grand Trunk. Moist has reasons to fear her, which is nearly the same as falling for her, on the disc. The war between post and clacks is fought with courage, codes, and the stubborn idea that a message should arrive as sent. Dead men walking through the system as data. Gilt's empire is a beautiful machine with blood in the gears. Moist cannot out-pirate a pirate with speeches alone. He must become something rarer, a public servant who still knows how a swindle works, and chooses not to run one. In the end, greed does what justice sometimes cannot. Gilt falls from the height of his own confidence. The clacks will not be pure overnight. The post office will not be perfect by morning. But the mail moves. Stamps stick. People write again because writing means someone might answer. Moist stays. Not because the rope taught him virtue. Because choosing the desk over the door is a kind of bravery con men are not trained for. On the disc, that is almost the same thing as honesty. If you are still awake, remember this: cities are held together by messages, love, debt, warning, apology, and by the people willing to carry them when carrying is unfashionable. Sleep well. The towers will flash through the night. The cat will patrol the corridors. Somewhere, a letter is on its way. Veterinary does not reform men with sermons. He reforms them with jobs too important to abandon and too public to cheat. Moist understands the trap the moment he puts on the golden suit. Looking like a postmaster is the first half of becoming one. Mr. Tiddles does not care about industrial revolutions. He cares about warm spots and the dignity of a well-run building. In that sense, he is the true permanent secretary of the post office. Stanley's pins are a religion of small order. In a city of large lies, small order is revolutionary. Groat's ointments are another kind of faith. The body must survive long enough for the institution to remember itself. The clacks are beautiful when they work, light stitched across the dark, human voices turned into geometry. They are terrible when owned by men who price the geometry higher than the humans. Moist learns the weight of a letter that says I am sorry, and the weight of one that says I am still alive. Delivery is not logistics. Delivery is mercy with a timetable. Spike does not want a hero. She wants the truth treated as if it mattered. Moist, who has spent a career treating truth as clay, finds clay can be shaped into something that stands. When the golden smile cracks, Ankh-Morpork does not cheer forever. It simply returns to work. That is the city's blessing and its curse. Moist returns to work too, sorting, inventing, promising, and this time meaning it. On the disc, going postal once meant rage. Now it can mean mail. Language, like men, can be reformed if someone insists on using the words carefully. There. The fire is low. The last stamp is pressed. Tomorrow there will be more letters, more lies, more chances to choose the desk. For tonight, the corridors are quiet, and Mr. Tiddles is on duty. The hangman's knot is a kind of punctuation. Veterinary prefers longer sentences, the sort that end with a job title and a public that will notice if you vanish. Moist discovers that fame is a leash made of applause. Every undelivered letter is a small unkept promise. Stack enough of them and you have a mountain of other people's unfinished lives. Moist climbs that mountain with a golden suit and a grin that used to mean trouble. Now it means opening hours. The clacksmen are not villains. They are skilled, proud, and squeezed by men who treat light as a ledger line. When Moist listens to them, he hears the sound of craft under pressure, the same sound a city makes before it breaks. A stamp is a tiny contract. The state and the citizen agree that distance can be tamed for a price measured in pennies and trust. Ankh-Morpork has always been good at pennies. Trust is the rarer currency, and Moist counterfeits it until the counterfeit becomes real through use. Mr. Pump counts Moist's footsteps the way a priest counts sins. Clay does not hate. Clay records. Being recorded is how Moist learns he still exists when he is not performing. Gilt's smile is a weapon polished daily. Behind it is the oldest con on the disc: convince people that theft is efficiency, and cruelty is the cost of progress. Moist recognizes the trick. Recognizing a trick is not the same as stopping it, but it is the first honest skill he has practiced in years. When the post office doors open properly, the city relearns a habit older than towers: writing to someone who is not in the room. That habit holds marriages, businesses, and apologies together. It is quieter than war and more durable than slogans. Spike cigarette is a period at the end of nonsense. She has no time for Moist's performance until the performance starts paying debts that are not his, which is how she measures a man. Night after night the towers speak in stuttering light. Night after night the sorting frames fill. Between them lies the argument of the age, speed versus care, spectacle versus arrival. Moist, who once lived on spectacle, begins to prefer arrival. Sleep now. Tomorrow the mail will still need carrying, and someone in a golden suit will pretend he always meant to be good, until the pretending and the meaning shake hands and get on with the day.